G'day and welcome to another quick assembly review. Being the 10th upload on my channel, I wanted it to be a build of my favourite tank, the Tiger. Now to clarify, it isn't my favourite because I believe it to be the best tank of the Second World War or anything silly of that nature. I don't believe any tank to be the best, as it all comes down to debated opinion. I find the Tiger to just be so interesting mechanically and mythically, and the aesthetics are unapologetic, giving you the appreciation for the dread of the people who would have been found on the opposite side of this beast. First up, front and center, I need to start with the instructions, which are definitely the typical Dragon variant, which is to say full of confusing and flat out wrong numbering and diagrams. The best example is the FIFO filters and piping, which is sure to confuse new modelers and non-Tiger savvy builders alike. What makes that section so confusing is not only the incorrect part numbers shown by the pieces in the manual, but the diagrams do little to clarify how they should be placed. Now with that in mind, this kit is still brilliant for detail and options, and of which there are many. You will notice that there is a spare mantlet, turret roofs, rear hull plates and more, giving you the option to perhaps build more than what this kit is sold as, less the decals. I made a point on my notes to also mention the strange arrangement of the wheels, all of them being connected with the exception of the outermost set, which is just bizarre. I haven't actually built a Tiger with wheels like this yet, so I'll have to see how they go during the final painting and assembly. Cost wise, I wouldn't pay more than $70 Australian for this model, but do note that quite a few people collect Dragon kits, so it may come at a higher asking price online if you happen to find one. Unlike other orange Cyberhobby box kits, this one doesn't come with any soldiers or extras, and that's perfectly fine for the detail of the kit and the options it has. It doesn't necessarily need extras, outside of the previously mentioned plethora of extra parts it has. As for the historical accuracy of the kit and extra information, I'd advise checking out tiger1.info, which I will have a link below for your convenience. And a huge thanks to David Burden for having the information on Tiger kits available like this, if you happen upon this video. For the more keen-eyed builders, some may notice I assemble certain steps out of order. This is just down to personal preference, as I prefer to attach the deck to the hull before doing any of the tools and bits and bobs. In terms of smoothness, this Tiger goes together very nicely, but as standard will require tape and clamps for a few spots, and some spots filled or trimmed. I'll be aiming to do a lot of the tidy up post build, as is my normal routine. You may notice I also skip over quite a few spots and don't bother building sections, which includes most of the hull mounted MG, the turret interior parts and inside the hatches. The reason being is that I'm building this tank as a sealed kit, so none of it is going to be visible anyway and eliminates some of the time required during the build. Speaking of time, it took me just about 5 hours of fairly continuous building to get the kit to a point where I was happy with it for pre-painting tidy up. Arriving at the final area of the kit, I did notice an unclear one or the other option the kit gives you in the form of the individual tracks. What I mean is that the kit only comes with 10 individual tracks for use on the turret or the spares located on the front, and it doesn't make it clear that you have to choose. I wasn't too keen on having one or the other, so I went with both, using some spare Tiger 1 tracks from a previously completed Ryefield kit, to allow me to have spares in both spots. Now I am aware this may not be historically correct, but it's just what I wanted to do with my build personally. And that's where I'm going to leave the big cap for now, with the stalks to be trimmed off the Ryefield tracks later on after they're completely dry, along with some of the other spots on the kit that aren't fully set yet. Now for those of you that also enjoy Tigers, fear not. As you can see, I have a mountain of them to come. However, I won't be aiming to flood everyone with consistent Tiger builds. Perhaps every 10 uploads I'll do a Tiger. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this one. Until next time, take it easy.